And I can't tell you how sorry I'm about Data. I wish I was more for you. I wasn't in the. So, so all the chords are in the key of F,
Yeah, these are.
but you have a C diminished.
F is just too high.
So what is this diminished go to the C G minus F? What does it do when it goes in diminished?
I didn't have
chords?
E, F, R, C.
What is it? What effect is it? Which is still in the key. It's diminished.
Five, it's a diminished five.
Yeah.
Then
Diminished
there's
five. I never,
two.
I just don't see that diminished five going to.
It goes to the I too. So that they have a little I. I'm so glad. Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
They're leaving.
You're leaving? You're gonna miss the apple tree?
Don't sit under the apple tree.
It will be online.
Okay.
Yeah, you've had too much loss lately, Rabbi. You
Too much loss, I'd say. Had enough for a lifetime this week.
You must stop it.
Mhm.
You must. Stop it.
It's good to see. Hey, Neil, we missed you today. Glad you made it.
Hey, the group is here.
Do you know Neil Alderman from the Mensa? He's from our Talmud class.
Aaron's
Yeah.
in Mensa.
Aaron's in Mensa too.
Yes, he is.
Hey, Neil, we need another Mensa party. Since we got, yeah, he's a Mensa. We missed because of the COVID, right?
Who else?
And the Mensa, Aaron's in Mensa. You know? I don't know. Okay.
Video is choppy, right?
What is?
Oh, something got it.
Okay, so we have a really special service which we first designed before we found out about Bernie. But when we did, I added a song that we didn't do "You're My Sunshine" because I didn't realize he liked it. But we added a song that I first loved in Dr. Park's chair back in 1995. And I listen to it all the time because I like all the songs because I do a lot of concerts at senior centers and nursing homes. So I have to find out what people like. So I think you guys will know it.
Want to get your dad?
Welcome, everyone. We have enough Sidurim here. Can you get some? Mo, is the audio okay? Mo, is the audio okay? Can you unmute yourself? Welcome, Cindy from New Jersey.
What did you say?
Oh, let me go with it. Mo, is the audio okay?
It is here.
I'm just checking. Scott went upstairs for a minute. Just want to check. Okay, we're gonna start in 2-3 minutes. So why doesn't everyone introduce themselves in the meantime? Neil and Dory, when you start?
Neil and Dory, all the members here.
Yeah. And then Marcia Kranz, been here for, how many years? You've been since I've been here?
Right.
So since when I started, when you first came to my office, I said triplets. I said, oh, great. You said, ooh. Okay.
27.
That was 27 years ago. Yeah, so I guess I know you the whole time since I've been here. Okay, and then the next one.
I am Rachel Park, and I've been here since 1987.
Wow.
Playing that game, I'm Seth Park and I've been here since 1963.
Ooh, that's a long time. Aaron
I'm Aaron Sherman, I'm a front of the rally.
and husband of a cantor. Okay, in the front row, the grandchildren.
I'm Zoe. I've been here since 2007.
7.
No, and not.
No.
Yeah, I know.
You've never been here.
First time here? Welcome.
I'm Simon. I'm also the grandchildren, and I've been here since.
Since today, and lovely daughter.
I'm one of the Park, Bernie's daughter, and I've been here since 1966.
And Bruce. Does everyone know Bruce?
Thank you.
Bruce Goldstein I know him since I started here when I was young and I had a full head of brown hair in 1995. And this lovely young man here.
I'm Mark Enninger, Lisa's husband. My first time here.
Okay, and now we have some more people coming in from our Kabbalah class. And this is Trudy and Steve Friedberg that are also in our classes and the Kabbalah class.
Good to see you.
And Scott Stevenson, who's in
Yay.
streaming our service. And my dear buddy Cantor
Yay.
Tammy, who agreed to
That's
put
me.
together a nice service tonight in memory of Bernie Park. Okay, so we'll start, and someone else just coming in. We'll start in a minute.
My sister. It's like,
Yeah, where's Glenn?
Yeah, this is like.
Is Glennis coming? We'll start and wait for.
It's always a relative question.
So we should start.
Okay, if you guys say, okay, so anyway, so it's the Friday. It's hard to believe, Marcia, it's the 24th of March. Next Friday, we're having is Marcy Littlefield, is joining us now too from Columbia, and part of our classes as well, Kabbalah, Talmud, and also our Agadata class. So next Friday night, we have a 6 o'clock service. 6:30, we're having a sort of a model Seder. The reason we're doing it this way is because that way we have no restrictions about Passover. You can bring in food what you'd like to the shul, and we're gonna give packets out so you can bring it to your regular Seders on Wednesday and Thursday. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a little guitar music, me and one of my students and guests maybe. So it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna have a nice meal. It's a potluck. I'm gonna send you tomorrow night probably the list of items that we need for the model Seder. And we have some more people coming in. Hey, welcome. Can you
Hi.
introduce yourselves before we start?
It's Ken and Arlene Zwaretsky, our good friends.
Oh, your friends. Okay, welcome.
Saved you a seat.
We went to the wrong sanctuary.
Wrong
Oh, the
school.
wrong place. Yeah, we're so big here.
We're in
It's
the
like,
chapel today.
it's like I went to the Hartford Movie Festival. It said there's 2 movies. Yeah.
Gone
Which
upstairs.
door do you
It's a
go?
full house today.
Okay.
Standing room only now.
Okay, so we're gonna welcome in the Shabbat as best as Tammy and I can do, in honor of Bernie. We're gonna start with a song I won't tell you. Try to guess what it is.
This is not the usual Shabbat song. It's by special request
By me.
by the rabbi in honor.
Because I heard it, first time I heard it in Bernie's chair, when I was about to have 4 cavities, and I needed something, and he played these songs, and this one was the one that I talked about that I really liked.
You can sing along if you know it. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else. Till I I'm walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me? No, no, no. Don't go walking down Lover's Lane with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. I just got word from a guy from the girl next door to you. The girl you met just loves the cut and it fits you to a T. Oh, don't go walking down Lover's Lane. Anyone else but me. Till I come marching. Oh, don't go out with those lips of yours to anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't give out with those lips of yours. You better be true to me. Till I come marching home. You're on your own, but there is nothing. Keep tabs on you. There to be, I'll guarantee. There's just one thing I'll do. Oh, don't sit up to the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. Everybody. Oh, don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Yes, anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, 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 don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come. Hey, come on in. Hi.
Well,
Good
family,
Shabbos.
welcome. Good
Yeah,
Shabbat.
Standing room only
Um,
for the apple tree.
So when I spoke to Tammy, I sang in a choir in 1994 with the great Debbie Friedman. And I feel like we never, in a CAGE conference, Jewish Educator Conference, I sang 5 years with her, and it was always fun with her. So decided, Goldie, hey, we're going to honor some of her great songs and share it with you. And Scott's good enough to put it on our YouTube, part of our monthly and weekly email, the weekly email especially, some of the songs so you can learn it. By the way, these services are recorded if you want to go back to it and you want to go back and listen to some of the songs. So thank you, Scott Stevenson, for that. So we're going to start now with, I think my favorite Debbie Friedman song. It's hard to find one favorite, but when I heard it, she never did it while she was alive. But when she passed away, there's a guy named Noah Aronson at a conference in Texas. And he just took up the guitar and he played it. I said, wow, I wonder why she never played it while she was alive. And it's the way a lot of synagogues start their service. It's called Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom, shalom, Malachi Hasharis, Malachi. Mahi Mahi HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachi Hasharim, Malachi. Mahi HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachi Hashalom, Malachi. Mahi Mahi HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And I spoke to the Seth Parkin family's Rabbi Raleigh Matmalon, and I told him I remember 1994 when I was there for the first time in New York City, since I lived in New York, went there with my daughter, and I was deeply moved by the service because he had a lot of prayers that he'd sing along with. He remembered me when I spoke to him from that time. I spoke to him a few times since. But I always liked the fact that he engaged, at least for the Cantor Previn, engaged the synagogue and people could sing along. And I think that's what makes great services to me. So we're going to turn now to some songs that you can all sing along with. And if you don't know them, you can just go onto our YouTube channel and learn them, or go onto the YouTube channels for people that compose it. Okay, we're turning now to the next song in our intro to Kabbalat Shabbat. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-bim.
Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-bim.
Bim, 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 bam.
You know that? I've only been doing it here for 29 years. I started doing it at people's homes with the guitar back in 1995 at people like Hannah Mintz's home, the Chemerinsky family, Lillian Cohen, some of you know from the Slopak family. They always loved it. On Friday afternoon, I'd go there and do some of these things. Everyone seemed to love Bim Bum Tammy for some reason, all the way back when I was young. So we're going to turn to Yisvach HaShemayim, Psalm 96 on page 256. The heavens are glad, everyone's rejoicing, and the sea and all it contains roar and praise. Please know it. Join us. I think you guys probably all know it on fifth line from page 256, Psalm 96.
Here am I, here I am, here I am. Here I am, here I am, here I am. Oh, here.
Hey, Dr. Park used to love this Or Zarua because it's simple, and he loved songs that he remembered. He always said he remembered from his Zadie and his Bubby when he was younger. That's why he loved certain the high holiday tunes. But Or Zarua he loved, and please join around. We're going to do the traditional Or Zarua that we do every week. The light is stored for the righteous, and hopefully Bernie's up there with the light, rejoicing with God, praising His holy name. Or Zarua. 5 lines from the bottom of 256. We'll do this one a cappella. Or zarua la sadik ule yisrael simecha. Or zarua la sadik ule yisrael simecha. Simchu tzadikim b'nai v'hodo lezecher kodsho. 258. Some of you don't know the story that are new here. Some of you guys know it. I went to my first Cage conference in 1993. There was a guy named Craig Talman, little guy with a guitar. And he said, wow, Ken, I just said, I'm going to do Shabbat Friday Night Live in Beverly Hills at a synagogue. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, it swept the country, and we continue to honor Craig Talman, his beautiful Friday Night Live service. We're doing a few from him tonight. If you don't know it, please learn it. Romamu, we do it every week now. Bottom of 258. 3 lines from the bottom of the page. Marla David, page 260. We're going to do this one a cappella. It's a Psalm of David. and we're going to recite it together. We'll go, some of you don't know, we'll go on a slow pace here so everyone can get all the words in. Where Marcia and Marcy are sitting, Dr. Park used to help out Eleanor. I was lucky enough to take Eleanor to services for a year, Friday night, and she's in, what, how old is she now?
97.
90, I was there at her 97th birthday, but she used to sit in the back, and Bernie used to help her with the pages. So it was so nice to see. You know, Bernie loved Eleanor. So we're going to rise and recite with me Mizmor LeDavid, which is Psalm 29, page 260. Mizmor LeDavid, everyone. Kol Adonai alamayim, ela kavod hirim, Adonai alamayim rabim. Kol Adonai, shover razim, shaber Adonai. Vayakidem kmo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion, kmo ven reimim. Kol Adonai, Totzed lavodesh, Kol Adonai, Yachil Adonai, Kol Adonai, Vayachsof yarot uvehechalot omer kavod, Adonai lamavo yashav vayeshev Adonai leolam, Adonai. May be seated. I'm lucky enough to have Jewish broadcasting service on my DirecTV. I get to see the great the service, not from Romamu, from Central Synagogue with my friend Rabbi Angela Buchtel. I always tell her, send her an email every weekend how much I enjoy it. Anyway, so she said a couple of weeks ago that there's 6,000 different versions of Lecha Dodi, and they do different ones. They rotate. But I think around here we've been doing this one for the most of the time I've been here, and people seem to like this one. So we're going to continue, so you're able to sing along with it. Lecha Dodi, the one that I've been doing here for over 20 years. First doing the last two verses, 262 and 264.
Shalom, Zachori, Born, Ishriya, El Chaviachad, Adonai Echad, Shalom, Ishmael to be ability. But I'm Shabbat, oh, Right. Oh, sing. Oh, ye They shall not be cast.
May be seated. We all always honor when Arlene is on with Psalm 93 on page 268. Arlene and I did a project this year. She came to me with an idea about putting a little brochure together that has some of our key prayers on, what every holiday occurs during the year, and a couple of thoughts from the Torah. So thank you, Arlene, for doing that. We sat across the street in Red Rose Cafe over lunch, and we finished it, so we have it available. Anyone who would like it. So thank you, Arlene, for that, and for working on our newsletter, which will be coming out soon with Goldie. And Bernie used to do it too, and we appreciate all his jokes and everything he put in to our newsletters throughout the last few years. So Arlene is going to lead us responsibly on page 268 with Psalm 93.
Good Shabbos, everyone. The Lord is King, crowned with splendor. The Lord reigns, robed in strength.
He set the earth.
His kingdom stands from earliest time. He is eternal.
The rivers rise and rage.
Above the crash of the sea and its breakers, awesome is the Lord our God.
Your decrees, O Lord, never fail. מקולות מים רבים אדירים משפריים, אדיר במרום אדוני, עדותיך נאמר לבך נאוה קודש, אדוני ליאורך יעמיד. Second Kaddish we reserve for everyone who doesn't have Kaddish to recite for them. That a lot of people killed and died without people saying Kaddish. The first one we recite for these people that have yortzites this week, and those were mourners. So we're going to remember from our community this week, Pinchas Cutler, Daniel Zadel Goldberg, a lot of you knew him, Bethany Hillsberg, and Risa Hillsberg, Greg Levine, remembered by the Lazinsk family, Nathan Liverant, we have Liverant's son, remembered by Joanna Liverant and Arthur Press, Donald Barger, Goldie Liverant, and Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Liverant, and Samuel Liverant, remembered by the Liverants as well, Joe London, Morris Plitnick, Marion Rosenberg, Avram Seven, Nathaniel Schiff, who I knew very well, remembered by Stephen Schiff and family, Henny Simon, who we all knew so well, will be a program on April 16th honoring her memory, which I'll be reciting the Kaddish with Rabbi Jeremy Schwartz. We're doing the names. I'll be doing the names of the concentration camps in the afternoon. Remembered by Jenny and Stuart Rabinowitz and all of us who loved Henny so much. Mitchell Simon, remembered by Jack Simon and family, Joe Wiener and Mary Walpo, remembered by Laura and Stephen Walpo, and we all here gathered together for the first time since we've been doing the burial Kaddish for remembering Dr. Bernie Park. So also I'd like to point out, I sent an email, everyone should have it. Also, we lost a member also yesterday, Marty Morgenstein. Funeral is 1 o'clock at Tainted Hill Road on Sunday. So we're going to remember him at our service as well. So we'll invite all mourners and those observing Yortzeit, including everyone from the Park family, or those who want to honor Bernie, to recite the Kaddish with me on page 268. Yeah.
He had my grandmother, Dora Zarkin.
Dora Zarkin. Is there any other names?
Yeah, I'd like to add Norman Ellman.
Norman Ellman. Okay.
And Stephen Alderman.
And Stephen Alderman. Okay. Any other names for the first Kaddish? Okay. Please join me. Yit Kadal, Yit Kadash, Virava, Yalma, Yivrach, Yerusei, Bechayechon, Yomechon, Tagala, Yehesh, Yivarach, Yishtabach, May be seated. A little joke before my little Dvar Torah, a short one. I have a lot of friends who are dentists, including 5 relatives of mine. Dr. Park was the first, though, in town here, and he's the one that first had me cracking up. I almost fell out of the chair when he was trying to drill my cavity back in 1995. So a little boy had to go to have his cavity filled with the dentist. So the mom says to the son, "What kind of filling would you like?" And what does the son say? "Chocolate." It's an old joke. You know what? I got to tell you, there was a time, some of you know, that when we had bar mitzvah kids here, every Shabbat I tell a corny joke and sort of fell out of favor with that for a while. But you know, since I was on the class with Rabbi Shway, Bernie used to always tell jokes before and after. I said, well, okay, rabbis can tell jokes and get away with it because everyone knows they're corny anyway. So I just wanted to point out that there was something called an up and down sacrifice that was offered in the times of the temple that we read about this week. So what do you mean by up and down? Well, it depends on how much money you had, how rich you were back in the old days. If you had money, what kind of sacrifice you think it was? It was a cow. If you didn't have as much money, you offered a bird. If you really didn't have money at all, you'd give a flower sacrifice. You know, Rabbi Cook, it said the first chief rabbi of Israel was a vegetarian. So people asked him, Rabbi Cook, what kind of sacrifice are we going to have in the temple? He goes, all vegetarian. Forget about the cows and the birds. So the point is about these sacrifices. God provides each of us with a certain amount of income every year. And if God gave us resources enough to offer a cow sacrifice, then God would expect us to offer a cow sacrifice. If for some reason you weren't able to make as much, then God would say, as Bernie used to say, it's the right covenant, right? That you gave with the good intention. You only had enough for a bird sacrifice, that's fine. If you were poor and you couldn't get a couple of shekels together, then you'd have to offer a flower sacrifice. So I think in life, the lesson is for me that we need to be sensitive to our limitations. The root of it, as Bernie always said, is the neshama. It comes from the kavanah that you have. The sacrifices were like part of your soul that you were giving. Even if you offered flour, it came from your soul. So the point is for tonight, I want to share with you is we can't necessarily judge people. We expect in life to have people to be the best that they can in your life. We can't really judge people. I mean, I grew up in New York. There were people that I grew up with that gave $100,000 to the shul, especially during the wars, you know, 6-Day War, Yom Kippur War. They would empty out the bank and they did it. There were some people that were middle class in my neighborhood that only gave $1,000. There were people in my neighborhood that only had $18 to give. But the fact is that everyone wanted to help out the poor state of Israel, so they gave what they could. The rabbi never judged anyone by what they gave. The important thing he always said, Rabbi Rackman, was, and then Rabbi Wurzberger, you give what's in your heart to give. Bernie gave me so many different pleasures in life. When I was in getting cavities done, he had a little mercy when he had to do more than 5 cavities on me. It was my own fault, probably for eating sweets, but I'm not going to go blame my mother. But everyone from my neighborhood came to my house because on Saturday afternoon we had a basketball court. We played basketball and everyone came for the candy. No one else's parents would allow them to have candy. So my mother would offer everyone Rice Krispie treats and babka and hopjes, those coffee. They sell them at Ryan's Deli, by the way, if you want them, or the gel rings, or the halva that everyone loved. So I grew up, unfortunately, my mouth was not good. My mother's mouth was not good. But Dr. Park made sure that I was well taken care of. And I thank him for that because he was the first dentist that I didn't hate. Most dentists, I would really hate them for the way they acted towards me. But Dr. Park, I knew him from the synagogue already. So he treated me with love. And he just said to me all the time, I don't like your favorite color should not be red. Your gums are bleeding. Anyway, so but the point is that he cared about it. The point is that he actually cared and wanted me to do something about it. And I think the great mark of a person is if they can help you out. I know a lot of people I know this week have a hard time with criticism, but the way Bernie did it, it was constructive criticism. It was my own good, right? So it wouldn't cost me thousands of dollars and root canals, crowns, root canals. You know how that story goes. So I really thank Bernie for that. And I really thank him for, when I first came to town, I never heard of Wayne Dyer. And when he told me, he showed me a Wayne Dyer book when I first got into his office, he said, this guy's really got it. So what do I do as an impulsive reader like my mother was? I read every Wayne Dyer book there was. So there was plenty to discuss with Dr. Park about it. And he always said, even up until recently, that we have a spiritual guru together, and that's Wayne Dyer. So, I thank Dr. Park for introducing me to all those wonderful moments when we look about changing our beliefs and changing our reality, because after all, we are what we eat, they say, and unfortunately the cavities with that, and we are what we pray. And Dr. Park always was very sensitive to prayer, and you heard the grandchildren do the Shema, which I thought was very moving. I can just imagine Dr. Park with tears in his eyes in heaven saying, boy, they sing a lot better than I did. People used to say to him, hey, a little off key here, Dr. Park. But, as I always said, it's not the voice. There's a filter, as I said at the funeral. Those who weren't there, it's that the kavanah in his voice, which was amazing. So we are now going to turn to the call to worship, which has been calling us to prayer for thousands of years, on page number 279. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch hamevorach li'olam va'ed. You may be seated. We're coming now to the time for the Shema prayer, which we did at the funeral. Some of you weren't there. So we'll ask our president, Dini Weiser, who's such a wonderful president of our synagogue, who had to take over when our dear friend Jack Herman was only president, I think, for 6 months, and Dini has stepped in ever since. So we thank her for all that she does. So she loves to lead the Shema. So Dini will lead us, and we'll have, I'll do it with Tammy and the grandchildren recite the Shema together. We do the same tune on page 284, which is the tune from the Torah. Okay, Dini, take it away and lead us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
the mic is working.
Okay, great. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ata et Adonai
Yeah.
B'chol levacha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'atecha, v'hayu advarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom al babecha, v'shiratam levanecha, v'divartam bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, v'chadtecha b'derech, v'sharpecha u'kumecha, v'kshartam liot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam al mizot beitecha, u'visharecha.
We'll continue to the end of page 286 silently. And I'm going to do something special now. Like Bruce and I went to a yeshiva, right, Bruce? We went to a day school, and they taught me how to read the notes of the Torah, and not just to memorize it. So I learned from Rabbi Osofsky, a guy who was 4'9" with a beard about 3 feet long. Called him, it wasn't a Chabad rabbi, they called him Lubavitch. And he taught me the tune. So this was the maftir, the last paragraph on 286 for my bar mitzvah, which was June 12, 1968. I still remember it. Please join me if you know the tune. Vayomar Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, v'amarta lehem, v'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei vigdehem l'dorotam, v'natnu al tzitzit hakanav betil techelet, v'haya lachem Litzitzit uritem oto uzachartem et kol mitzvot Adonai vasitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkaru vasitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim leloheichem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emes. We come now to page 292. Some of you haven't been here for this. Most of you know this for the last, since COVID and Tammy's been here. We do a mashup here. I love Matisyahu, his song One Day, and we've combined it with Hashkivenu by Craig Taubman. And if you don't know it, you can listen to the recording. Tammy's going to do it. And I just can't imagine doing Hashkivenu without Matisyahu in the house. Okay. Please join.
It is around. Try the second part, you're brave. Ashkivenu Adonai, Nule Shalom, the holiday of Ashkivenu Adonai, oh, the holiday of Take Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, the holiday One day, one day, one day.
By the way, I got that idea from Central Synagogue, from a Cantor Julia Chastain, who's now in Westport. She's moved closer to us. I heard it there. I said to Tammy, sounds like a good idea. We rise to Vishamru from the words of Exodus. We'll do the traditional, so everyone please join along with Tammy, page 294. There it is. We welcome to our service Mel Scott. Hi, Mel. Mel's good buddy Bernie. They were such good friends for so many years. So Mel, say hello to the family. We're glad you're with us. By the way, that dancing child is
Yeah, the dancing
Scott's
babies.
Scott's wife, Deanne, with Marion.
Dancing babies.
19 months old.
Oh.
Okay, the silent devotion, Amida Shabbat evening, page 296 through page 300. Our president particularly loves this one because of memory of her mother harmonizing with Oseh Shalom B'Ramav. Our prayer every day is that God who creates heaven, peace, bring the peace down to earth. So please join us, Oseh Shalom B'Ramav, on the bottom of page 316.
Yosef Shalom.
Everyone, Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. We all call it Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem, the Uncle Israel. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Israel. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, the Uncle Israel. Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleichem.
The Uncle Israel. Oh, amen. We rise for Aleinu, which was written for the high holidays. People loved it so much, it's 3 times a day now. Aleinu, please join me, 320. Aleinu. Papa and we'll recite, they might be seated at Kaddish for all those who were killed this week, those who had no Kaddish to be recited for them, as well as those Yortzites and those that we remember during the past year. We have a special Yortzeit tonight for our dear friend Cindy Gitter from New Jersey, who joins us every week, for her aunt Gladys Barnhart. Please recite with me the Kaddish 324. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Mirava, Bialma, Divrach, Yurfei, Yehei Shmei, I'm going to turn now to those who need healing prayers, Mishaberach. As Debbie Friedman told me back in 1995, you first pray for yourself, heal yourself first, then you can pray for others. So we're going to do her version, which everyone knows, I think, here. We are going to say Refuah Shlema for Mordechai Shmuel ben Bluma, Zev Yaakov ben Rashi, Stratton, Joy. You have more names?
I do Jeannie, Stephanie, and Logan.
Jeannie, Stephanie, and Logan. Crosby, little Crosby. Arlene, you have a few too. The Parrots.
Maxine Parrott, Elizabeth Parrott, Susan Dennis, Judy Sorka. Thank you, Rabbi.
We have for those two. Any other names for tonight?
Joel Cherdak.
Joel Cherdak, Scott Big Poppy, and Grandma Renee. Okay. Any other names for the Mishaberach prayer? Okay, please join Cantor Tammy with the beautiful Debbie Friedman version of the Mishaberach prayer.
Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We shall sing before my soul's in with Shalom, the renewal of our body, the renewal of our spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Kate Tammy, for inspiring us tonight. We have blessings for children. We have a few online, some here. For sons of what age, never doesn't matter what age. Yisimcha Elohim ki Ephraim v'chim Menashe. May God give the blessings of Ephraim and Menashe and all the wonderful daughters. Simech Elohim ki Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. May God give the blessings of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yisim lecha shalom. May God bless you and guard you. May God show you favor and be gracious to you. May God show you kindness and grant you peace. And let us say, let's have a rousing Shalom Aleichem for Bernie in heaven. Shalom Aleichem. We greet the angels of the Sabbath. I used to do it every Friday night after coming back from the shtibel. My brother, my father, greeting the mother of the house with Shalom Aleichem. We greet the angels of the Sabbath. Shalom Aleichem, bottom of 722. We'll do the traditional one that everyone sings today.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon. Vida Malachei Hamagi Hakadosh
When I grew up, Yigdal was when I knew the service was going to be over. So my brother and I were happy because I don't forget, I first went to a service when I was 4 years old and a Hasidic shtibel. It was hard because they were going, with different accent. U was E and A was A, the different ways of praying. Ois, a lot of ois. I wasn't used to learning that in day school where I learned, I didn't learn Ashkenazi, I learned Sfardit. So Yigdal, page 326, please join me on to close, and then we'll have a couple of other announcements and song to end. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach Msav yehenei del metziuto Echad v'en yachid k'yichudo Nelam v'gam ein sof Ein lo t'mutat guf Yeheino guf Lo na'aroch kelav kedushato Kadmon l'chol davar Asher nivera Rishon bin Reshit Adon olam so Yoreh gedulato umalachuto Shevad nevuato netano Elan yosei segulato v'tifato L'kam Yisrael k'Moshe od Naviu mahabir et emunato Torat emet natan le'amoel Al yad Navio neman Lo yachkalif ba'el V'lo yamir dato Le'ohu lahamim lezulato Sofer v'yodea Setarenu Mabit l'sof davar B'kadmato Gomer lish chesed K'mihifalo Noten drashara Kerishato Yishlach l'ketz yamin Meshichenu Liftot v'chakei Keitz Yeshu Meitim Yechayeel Berov Chasto Baruch Adei Ad Shem Meitim Yechayeel Berov Chasto Baruch Adei Ad Shem. Here's what's coming up. We have a lot. I put those who don't get the monthly email that is also available hard copy. Thank you. Bernie did it, and then we have Goldie and Arlene who are online doing it now for the Passover edition. We also do have a weekly. We send out Monday. Thanks to Scott and I, we put together a weekly with thoughts and what's coming happening in the synagogue, including the link for every service. By the way, every class and service has the same link. So whatever email you have, you can just click on it. You don't have to keep going through emails for links. Here's what's coming up this week. Tuesday, we have a class at 6 o'clock, Agadata, Brachot, 6:30, Talmud of a Metzia, 8 o'clock, special in memory of Bernie. We're going to talk about the angelic system of heaven at 8 p.m. this week, Tuesday night. On Wednesday, we have 2:30, conversational Hebrew, 3 o'clock, Jewish literacy, and 3:30, we have a class in Jewish ethics. So if you want to go on to any of the classes, just go on that one link. And if you don't have it, ask me or Scott, and we'll be glad to send it to you. Special upcoming things. We have March 31st at 6 p.m. We're going to have the service in a model Seder here. I'll send you out tomorrow night the list of what we need for the Seder, for the model Seder. We also have thanks to Bruce Goldstein here, we're going to have a service Shacharit here. We're going to have it at 7:30. We're going to have a morning service with a nice breakfast as we lead into Passover. So don't forget about that. And Lori's on in memory of her parents. You can see Tammy and I around the bonfire at Lori's house, doing some of the songs we did tonight. I send everyone the list of the potential songs. So some of them will be done. I'm going to try to maybe Zoom it as well for people that can't make it out of state. And then, so the other songs, we're only going to do maybe 5 or 6 at Lori's house because it's more of a social get together. So the rest of them will be done at my birthday celebration at the bonfire at Jennifer Lynch Wheaton's house. So I'll let you know a date in that. It's going to be in June. We're going to go around the bonfire and continue the songs. It's not just Hebrew, it's rock and roll and country, which I love, and blues. So I have an eclectic taste, someone told me. Anyway, I just love music. So I think it's healing, to tell you the truth. So we're going to, Deanie, would you like to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone here? We have a full house here at the chapel. Deanie.
Shalom, everyone. I also would love to say my dearest condolences to the entire Park family. I know Bernie was a part of my family, and I still love being in services with him on Saturday mornings as well as Friday nights. He used to sit behind me, him and Eleanor, and it was kind of funny that she couldn't hear, he couldn't hear, so they would just be off on their own.
That's true. Maybe that's why it sounded so good.
I loved every minute of the two of them. What page are we on?
I remember it now.
It was great. It was great. And Bernie, like I think I told someone in the family before, but you know, he would come up to me and he would say, I gotta tell you something. I gotta tell you something. And I never knew whether he was telling me something that really happened in his life or whether it was some kind of a joke. And I usually wouldn't figure it out till halfway through. And then there was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And then the punchline would come and I was going to be like, Bernie. So I loved him very, very much. And he will always be a part of my heart. And he will truly be missed. And his jokes, his laughter, and his love of history. He really loved history and he loved to write about it. And in our newsletter, he would have a column with a little history lesson. So I will always remember that very, very fondly. And just, you know, him and Eleanor in the back, and, you know, good times with him around, and maybe a little schnapps here and there.
Yeah. Really? Okay, thank you, Deanie, for sharing that memory. Does anyone, before we go and turn over to Tammy for the last song of tonight and then join for Kiddush and Amotzi next door, does anyone else want to say something about Bernie before we conclude our service tonight? No, I'll just say one thing. My sense of humor is back, whether you like it or not. I think rabbis who tell jokes are cool. Even though every Chabad joke I've heard before when they say it, but at least they're trying. Rabbis at least are trying. You know, Jackie Mason started out as a rabbi before he became a comedian. I'm not going to be a Jackie Mason, but if I can get a little chuckle, it'll be nice. Okay, Tammy's going to end with a beautiful song that you can all sing along to. Then we'll join together for Kiddush Motzi in the social hall.
Debbie Friedman, so say shalom. These are rounds if you're brave and you know it. Oh, say shalom. Hallelujah, I say shalom. Hallelujah. Shalom, hallelujah. Yes, someday. Okay.
Our condolences go to the Park family. Thank you, Tammy, for leading us. We'll always remember Bernie here in the chapel, in the sanctuary, such a dear friend for so long. Only thing we could do now, as I said, is give charity his name. We sing in his name and honor him through study and prayer, and that's what we'll do with our classes for the rest of the month here at Ahavath Achim. Shabbat Shalom and Barak to everyone. Please join us for Kiddush Motzi in our social hall. Thank you all for coming, for making it such a wonderful service.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hey.
Goldie, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, there are many people traveling tonight and we should say the travel prayer for them.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Okay. Goldie will lead the travel prayer as we leave. Goldie, please lead us in the travel.
They lived in Colchester. They're on this,
Okay, Goldie, please.
Right away, as soon as he's done with his business.
7:13.
that's my grandma and grandpa.
You ready, Goldie?
I know tonight, many who are here for the funeral will be traveling for greater distances tonight. So I think the travelers pair is certainly in order.
Okay.
May it be your will, Lord, our God, and God of our ancestors, to guide us in peace, to sustain us in peace, and to lead us to our desired destination of health and joy and peace, and to bring us home in peace. Save us from every enemy and disaster on the way, and from all calamities that threaten the world. Bless the work of our hands. May we find grace, love, and compassion in your sight and in the sight of all who see us. Hear our supplications, for you listen to prayer and supplication. Praised are you, Lord, who hears prayer. Amen, and Shabbat Shalom to all of you.
Good night. Shamar Tefillah. Thank you, Goldie, for being such a good friend of Dr. Park. Thank you all. Thank you all, Mel, Arlene, Deanne and family, Julian's family, Goldie and family, and Arlene. We'll see you guys soon.
Grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my grandmother and grandfather.
Oh, really? The Goldbergs?
The Goldberg, you didn't.
I didn't know.
You didn't know them
I didn't
because you
know.
weren't there.